welcome back to the channel, Weetzer's Woodshop. So, I got a little bit of a runny nose right now because it's a little chilly out here. So, took some time off. Happy New Year, everybody, by the way. So, we're starting this new year off right. Starting the videos over again. So, took some time off. Had to deal with some injuries, get some progress on getting healed up, and doctors, I guess not orders, but directions on what to do. So bum shoulder, bum knee, bum ankle, things. So just took a good sabbatical, I guess you could say, and just took some time off. So, but got something new, and this is for my channel, and I'm leaning up against it right now. So purchased this a couple months ago, and got some high hopes for it. So let me pan out and I'll show it to you. So here it is, a 1965 flare side Ford F-100. Now, pretty cool story. It is originally a Navy pickup truck, meaning it was bought here locally in 1965, 1965 as a matter of fact, by the Whidbey Naval Air Station. So this thing used to run around parts and for airplanes and those kind of things. So back in the day when they were getting replaced and newer stuff was coming in, they used to have these auctions, and a client of my wife's was the first civilian to buy this thing. Now I hope this microphone's working. And I'm not 100% sure what year, but I'm sure it was early 70s or maybe late 60s, something like that. Well, he used it for his property here in Whidbey Island. So, and I believe he even drove it to California once, and it came back and moved and did some other neat things. But so as you can see, that is the original. No, I'm sorry, I put that on there. That's not the original, but that's the original lettering. No, I said it again. That is the style of stencil that they originally used that I put back on there. So that is the serial number of this vehicle. There is also on the inside of this, on the dash, which we can't put a radio in. I'm not going to. I'm going to put a center console down, but there is a nameplate that's brass, and it shows all the information, warranty, everything about this vehicle when it was purchased for the Navy. So just the coolest truck. Many years ago, Neil had brought this truck to get a haircut, and at my wife's shop. So I jokingly had said when I followed him out, I said, "Hey buddy, if you ever decide to get rid of that thing, you let me know." Well, a couple months ago we got the phone call, and we picked it up for a song. So, and I promised him that I am not going to change anything to this thing other than the regular maintenance, and I'll show you the interior, what I did to that. So as I go through and explain all this, I'll try to show you the pictures of what it looked like when it arrived, and it was a mess. But it was only ever driven on his property, and sometimes around town, going to Home Depot and the nursery and just different things like that, but mainly on his property. So I gutted it. I just gutted it, and I'll show you some more pictures. And I pressure washed the inside because everything in there is metal, and it was probably from the 70s. There was probably dirt, maybe even the 60s that was inside there. It was a mess. I didn't even really know what color it was. So, and then this was so chalky faded that I sandblasted it, and then it changed the color. But then I've got about 200 hours into this thing already. So I used a Comet wash, and then I used a CLR wash, scrubbed it down completely by hand, got rid of all the chalk, and then I used the chalky paint anyway. Then I used a 400 grit, a 600 grit, and a 1000 grit, and sanded all of that patina back. So the surface rust that was on here was incredible, and this color came back out, which is really neat. just the gray color, the original color anyway. So, and then I did the brakes, I did the wheels, I did the bearings. I got that all done. It absolutely stops and goes just perfectly. Since I've had it, when I got it, there was 88,000 original miles on this. Put a little bling on here, replaced these. The badges, they were all broken up and cracked, and then I got the new plastic that had that in there. Put the original style mirrors on, which looks really good. There's some screws in the door, so they must have had the big square mirrors on there. It came with one mirror, and I took it off, but it was so damaged I couldn't even use it. The interior of this thing came out so beautiful. I am so excited to drive this around. So let's see what else. Oh, before I get into any more detail, the back I'm going to redo. So that's going to be another video for this channel. I'm going to mill my own wood, local wood, and I'm going to redo that bed. But I got another idea for the bed, so I won't spoil it, and you'll have to pay attention to the channel to watch that one. Then I took this stuff called Flood Penetrol, and I sprayed 3 coats. I thinned it out, sprayed 3 coats on this thing, and all it is an oil-based leveling agent for paint. But it's really a paint with no pigment and no color and no anything in it, so it's basically a clear coat. So I preserved every bit of the patina on this thing and just sprayed it, and it came out fantastic. The water just beads right off of it, but it drives so nice. And the best thing about this thing is it has the Ford 300 straight 6, without a doubt the best motor Ford ever manufactured. It's got 3 on the tree, so I leave the keys in it wherever I go. If I go to the store, do whatever, try to steal it, there isn't a person in this town that knows how to drive this vehicle. So, especially as in the shape it's in anyway, there's nobody who can probably steal it. So that may bite me in the rear, but we'll see. Everything works: windshield wipers, blinkers, horn, you name it. So let's why don't you come closer, and let's do a lap around this thing and show you all the character and everything that's about it. So yeah, just come on over. All right, so as you can tell, I redid well, let's see if we can see some shine here. See how that just shines now? This thing is just awesome. That hood was just solid. I'll show some other colors, but that patina really came out really nice. I'll back up here a little bit. The Ford lettering was missing. I just got those. My son was on his job site, and this license plate, a work truck license plate popped up. So 1965, what are the odds? So the neat thing about this is, like I said, there's just tons of character on this thing. So here's a dent right here, and you can see I just put a sticker. It's a safety committee member, but that just tells a story immediately. And then look at the weld on the bumper. So they pulled it out, welded it up, and probably said, "Hey man, when we get back, don't tell Chief." You know, so I call that that dent right there, "Don't tell Chief." So really cool stuff. Like I said, all the lights and all the bezels. I have to redo these. The lights are pretty crooked, and then when I went in there and took all this off to preserve it, the adjustment screws are frozen, so we can't align them any different or anything. But took that all out, sandblasted everything, painted it, preserved it. And for Christmas though, from my oldest son, thanks Aaron, I got the screws to replace that, so we can line that all up. I'll probably get some different headlights though, but we'll see. Around here, there's whoops, went off in the ditch right there. The scrapes are all on the bumper, you know, different things. There's a dent in the hood. Don't mind the Jeep back there that somebody left the dome light on. Like I said, I redid the twin I-beam. Oh, here's the cool thing about this truck. first year, 1965, of twin I-beam suspension. So, oh, there's my finger. So going down the road on this thing is like a Cadillac. It is so smooth. It's a manual steer. It doesn't, when you hit the bumps, it doesn't pull you all over the place. It's just unbelievable. It just floats. So, and then there's the lettering I did. That's the actual stenciling. It's navy stenciling that I used. And then I scrubbed it down and patinaed that as much as I could, but that's an epoxy based paint. So I wanted that to stay there. Here's the old step side. Here's the rear fender. This fender's in really good shape. Redid that. The rear, all the brakes, all the rims, painted them. Found those beauty rings. A couple little dents in them, but they look pretty nice. Tires are not in great shape, but that's what I'm doing today. I got new tires, so we're gonna put some new tires on. The tailgate is in pretty good shape. A couple little dings and dents. There's my collector's vehicle plate. I had to move these, the lights, which are the original shaped lights. The back of them are original, but these have been replaced at some time. All of these screws were pretty rusted, so I just put some galvanized hex screws in there. I'll probably change that later to some, but for some reason they had the lights up here, which I kind of like, but I replaced them. There's the original wiring, and then did stainless steel bolts all the way throughout. So just eliminated those. It's missing one of these on this side. For some reason, when you were driving it on the base, that's what was required to have some type of reflection. So the brackets for the tailgate were really messed up. So I was able, when I redid these brackets, which are original brackets, I took these off, and then if you can see right there, they were cracked. I re-welded them, ground it down, straightened them all out. I had to put it in a vise, chamfer that hole, and now this thing doesn't rattle around. These are probably original mounts up here. I got an idea, since they're pretty loose, I'm gonna metal build up these and weld these up, and then reshape this with a file and just get these to clamp again. The tailgate, well, there's the bed. So if you lift this up, the bed's pretty wasted. There is not much left of it. But this plywood, this marine grade plywood, was put in there many years ago. So the strips that are underneath, and someday I'll show you, are really well preserved. They're all there. I can save them. Over in that corner, some sailor probably PO'd about another squadron stealing tires or spares or doing something. Decided to make a really cool homemade mount. So this thing is so over-engineered. It's got a locking loop on there, so you can put a padlock and a chain. So I'm going to actually use that when I take these other tires off. But I got big plans for this bed. The tailgate is bent, and if you can see that right there, I'm actually going to lay this down and bend it back into shape, but I'm probably going to use my tractor. I got kind of a plan. Here's the other fender, leather wheel, a little bit of cancer back there, or a lot of bits. So, but we're going to weld that all up. I got metal for that. Some scratches, dings, rust, you name it, all sorts of neat stuff in here. This I thought was going to be a problem. It works fine. It's just ugly. So that, but it's a grommet that I can replace. It's just cracked up. But and there's the other Navy symbol, official use only. When I go on the base now with this thing, oh, it's so hilarious because the gate guards kind of look at it and just. There's a cool mirror. That's the original style. Again, another badge. It's got a bead of water on it. And then up here, this was like, we decided to take a corner a little too fast. I don't know, nice little dent right there. But another thing that's like, well, we probably shouldn't tell Chief. So now, here's the thing. Let's go to the other side, and I want to show you this interior as to what I did. All right. So after I gutted this thing and washed it, I did a lot of work on this interior. So tried a couple things on the kick panels down here because they were just full of scuffs. This is actually trunk paint, but it didn't dry well enough. Some places it did. I'm gonna probably try to do it again because I really like it. But for Christmas, I got the carpeted kick panels for those. So took all these doors, taped them all off, took all the hardware off, and then painted all of these. So the other thing I have to do is get new seals. It whistles pretty hard going down the road, so I'm probably gonna get new seals for this, and then new seals for the window in here and up here. So, but that'll be another project. But when I took this panel off, I sound deadened the whole interior. And so I used that, it's just butyl rubber, but it's sound deadening, self-adhesive stuff. So it made a huge difference in these doors. There's a little moisture that comes in here, which does not bother me. All right, here's the seats. Now this thing never had seat belts. I had to put seat belts in it. And then obviously the tank is right behind the seat. No, never mind that explosion. Actually, I'm not even worried about it. The only thing that did happen was there is a seal. Let's see if I can pull this up. There it is. And there's a seal that is made of cork for the sending unit that's in there. Well, if that dries out, it just leaks vapor like horrible. So you could not light a match in here. I mean, it was just that bad. But you take a little squirt of WD-40 or PB penetrant and you touch the outside of that thing and it swells up and seals it up. So absolutely perfect. So I gutted this. Here's the floor mats that are out of the wife's car. I just put them in here. They float around, but they work pretty well. But a little bit of cancer on that. And then there's gonna be I'm gonna do some cutouts and repatch all that, get it back to new. And then I'm gonna put the original style vinyl back in here. And then I'll get some decent floor mats. But in the center console, that's where I'm gonna put where my kids got me for, it was my birthday, I guess it was. The original style radio that would mount up here. But it's Bluetooth, it's all. But I'm gonna put a console down here with some small speakers because I don't need high quality sound. And then this is my favorite thing right here. And I'll try not to block it and I'll get it close enough. But there it is, Department of the Navy. That is the original badge that this came with that shows all the information. I'll put a picture on there so you can read some of that. So unbelievable. I took off the old pads. The gas pedal's fine. I got some more of those pads on order, which is no big deal. And I had to get the column. I had to rebuild this column. So the shifter came in, the shifting column came in, and that is aluminum. So I just left it. I could have polished it, but to me it looks kind of vintage and I love it. So, there's my little field repair. This is actually, this field repair kit, it's an actual tool bag from the Navy. Boy, I can't talk today. So redid the dash. The original heater vents were in here, but pretty tore up, but they were so long, I was able to cut them, reattach them to this right here, and I made a flange, rubber flange that seals, and boy, you could cook potato up here. This heater works so good. I'm missing one of the springs on this side. No, I think it's this side. It shuts pretty good, but it doesn't hold it up all the way, which goes about right there, I guess. But with one spring, I was pretty satisfied with this. My son and I, Austin, we went through this thing, and this was so gross. There was burn marks coming up here, you know, so you could just see some sailors. But inside there was some old Marlboro butts that were just, oh man, I don't know how old they were. They had to be from the 60s. But we emptied it was all black and just nasty. And then once we emptied it and washed it out, there was a bunch of coins in there. And I think the newest one was from 1971. So cool. So, and it works just perfect. There's some cool things on the gauges. I redid the dash. You couldn't even see the gauges around the instrument cluster right there. So took all of that out. It's just screws all over. Things come out. Painted the original Wimbledon white. Sandblasted that one actually. And so somebody had put the flashers right here. They work perfect. The heater, the dial for some reason probably broke many years ago. And some sailor just put some kind of lock nut washer thing, whatever you want to call it on there. I think it's so cool. And it must have, same thing happened to the wipers over there. So I left it, I'm leaving it. The horn was relocated. It's not up here. So I always wanted a wooden steering wheel. So I found one, I put it in there. I already scraped it all up though, so. But I'll just buff it out, see what happens. It's an old truck, so. The seat, unbelievable this condition this seat is in. This is the original seat. This is about 12 hours or more of shampooing. So Neil had a dog, loved to ride in here. I'll probably have my dog in here too, so if she's got the guts to get in. But this thing is so nice. The vinyl, I just redid it and cleaned it front and back, painted the sides and the bottoms, all the brackets, everything's just working perfect. It slides perfect forward and back. And then my most favorite about this thing is look at that headliner, original headliner, just flawless. I just went up there with some Clorox wipes and scrubbed and scrubbed and scrubbed. It was just dusty, dirty, and it's just perfect. There, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4-piece headliner. All the pieces are there. Everything's there, just perfect. The color, the rear view mirror, the visors, they are absolutely perfect. I preserved all the mounts and everything, and then just taped everything off and then sprayed it. So the other side, I did the same thing over there, put the sound deadening, and when I put everything back together, everything works. So unbelievable. It's a little noisy going down the road. My favorite of this thing though is those wing windows. Oh man, they are fantastic. When you can turn them all the way around. There's no air conditioning in here, so turn them around and going down the road, it just cools you off and sucks all the air out that if it does get hot. But there you have it. A couple little things. These are all original. The vents on each side, they're all working just fine. Everything's still there. I just preserved them with paint. There's the original cloth heater and the motor. These are the heater vents, or the tubing there. You can see under there, that's how you turn the defrosters on, off, or the heat coming down. That's the original paper back there. It came out really good. I kind of painted it just to preserve it a little bit. Just cleaned it up, and there it is, a great truck. The floorboard over there, about half of it I need to replace. It's like this side over here, so it's gonna be nice, but it's gonna be easy. I can order all this stuff. But man, I'm telling you, this thing is just so awesome. Just so awesome. Lots of history. I don't normally name my vehicles, or don't say, oh, this is Betty Jean or whatever, but I named this one Master Chief. It just kind of fit it. So I call it Master Chief. My wife calls it the Clunker. But she doesn't get it, which is fine. But I actually she's ridden in it with me, which I cannot believe. We've gone to the casino, we've gone downtown to get food. It's just kind of cool. But that's the other thing. When I go to a gas station now, I got to go late at night or early in the morning, because this thing gets a lot of attention. There's a lot of people that come up and ask about it, and I'm totally fine with it. But so while I got this going here, I'm going to show you my favorite part, and let me reposition this camera and we'll talk about what's under the hood. All right, let's see if I can open this bad boy. The spring for the secondary latch doesn't work, but I have one on order. But there you have it, a 1965 Ford 300 4.9 liter inline six. Unbelievable. Let's see what this looks like in the frame here. So I did a lot of work to it already as far as cleaning it up. It was full, I'll show some other pictures. This thing was just black with lots of grit and grime and all sorts of cool stuff. So lots of history. But man, original oil bath, air filter system, which I use, and I'm going to keep it there. Biggest thing I'm going to change is, well, you know what? Come on a little closer. Let's look at this a little closer. There we go. All right. So talking about the oil bath now, listen to that. This hood. Also, check out what's down there. The ground. You can actually see the ground. I can sit up here on these ledges and work on the distributor, change spark plugs. Just look at, I mean, it's just incredible. Got a new oil filter, fuel filter for the fuel pump. It's got original Fomoco. That's the bag for the windshield washer fluid. I'm just gonna put like a whiskey cork and stuff up there, but got a new motor. It mounts right there. We're gonna run the lines because there's windshield washer holes right there for the squirters. So definitely right there gonna change gosh, there's an echo. You can hear it because there's so much metal in here. Definitely gonna change the master cylinder, brake cylinder right there. I'm gonna get a dual one. This one works very well, but if a brake line breaks on any one of my wheels, I lose all brakes. So at least I'm gonna get a dual chamber, probably out of a newer F-150, something like that. So the gearbox, there's a lot of grease and stuff down there, which is fine because when you have grease that shows, that means that grease is in there. So I did the distributor. I put new points in it, got it all cleaned up. It fires off really good. A little bit of a timing issue as far as I just got to get a little more accurate. Starts right up and runs, but I noticed there was a little bit of dieseling. So I'm just gonna tune that up a little bit more, which is no big deal. It's got the original 1-barrel carburetor. You can kind of see it up underneath there. It works very well. Exhaust manifolds, nothing leaking. I replaced this big old wire here that comes from the starter because that starter wire was messed up. The heater hoses work great. They're not all cracked up. There's some mounts down there. I had to redo, if you can see inside, I didn't have to, but I did. A lot of times the battery trays go bad. Well, I just picked all that out there. And then this tray was absolutely perfect. It just had surface rust. So I sandblasted it, preserved it with some good paint, put it all back in there, put it back together, and she'll never rust again. So at least for a long time. Alternators charges like it's supposed to. It runs as smooth as a Singer sewing machine. There's no vibration. It just goes down the road. It's real quiet. There's a pretty big exhaust or muffler up underneath there. It looks kind of like an RV muffler, but it makes it pretty quiet there. So I like that. Eventually, maybe get something with some power steering, or they got a new conversion with electric steering, but I'm not too worried about it. It's just if the wife or somebody else needs to drive it, they got to be pretty strong. But there it is. I'm going to tell you without a doubt, I believe that this is the best motor Ford ever made. It is a workhorse. I now have 89,000 original miles on this thing, and some of these have been documented to go 450,000 miles on a no rebuild. So that's incredible. Obviously they used them in industrial type machines, and those were the ones that had the hours and the miles on them, but these are time proven. So I am not changing this. If I ever change anything, I might change a little bit of exhaust, like put a nice muffler or some good exhaust in the back, just to let it breathe a little better. But so I gave it the test. I filled her up. I went down the road a couple of times to my work, which is a one-way drive of 65 miles. Ended up filling up a couple of times, and the first time I never went over 50. I took all the back roads. I got to work a little late, but I was a little worried about it. Plus, I'm still worried about the tires. So anyway, I got new tires, so I'm gonna do a video of putting those on. But the first time I drove it, put another fill up in it, this thing got 21.5 miles to the gallon. and I am so impressed with it. Just and so torquey. It just went up and down the hills like you couldn't believe. Then I said, you know what? I got brave. The second trip, I took it on the highway, went down I-5, and hit 70, 75 miles an hour. No issues. The rear end in this one is maybe a 355 or something. It's not that high torque, like no 410s or nothing like that. So RPMs were just fine, and 18.6 miles to the gallon. So this is, I'm gonna make it a daily driver. It's gonna be, I mean, I got classic plates on it, so I'm gonna keep the mileage down, of course, but oh man, this is just the greatest. So don't ever change your motors, you straight six guys. I know everybody likes the V8 and the rumble and whatever, but man, there's no reason to. If this thing goes down the road like it's supposed to, and you're not holding up traffic, who cares? So, all right, there she is, my 1965 Navy issued workhorse truck. So this will be the Weetzer's Woodshop truck. So what we're gonna do, or I'm gonna do, is get some magnets, and we're gonna, whenever we do a delivery of a carving or something I made or whatever, I'm gonna just put those magnets on, and on this side in the back we're gonna put the rails, the wood rails, about too high, because all those areas in the bed are cleared out, so I can put that in there and then strap stuff in there. And so, but again, the bed's going to be a video. That's going to be a surprise. The railing, that's going to be a video. Not much of a surprise, but we'll make it nice and custom. They'll probably say Weetzer's Woodshop carved on the side or something. So, but this will be my shop truck. So when I do some neat deliveries, because that tailgate's pretty cool because it comes down pretty far, or it just comes off. So if I need to, a forklift, I can get in there and take something out if I attach it to a pallet, or who knows. But and then in the meantime, this will be driving around Whidbey Island with making memories of some past sailors that probably learned how to drive this thing on the base when they were young. So who knows? We'll see what the adventure brings us. So didn't want to make it Weetzer's Woodshop too much of an automotive channel, but this is pretty interesting stuff. So, and then as I make improvements to it and stuff like that, we'll document that. But and then mounting the camera and stuff in there as we go on our journey to deliver the statues or the carvings that I make, it'll just be fantastic. So I'm just so excited to have something like this. I'm gonna keep it like this forever. The drivetrain, eventually, someday, I'm gonna get this drivetrain all perfect, and the tires and brakes, and I think I'm going to take a road trip down to Southern California to see my son. I think that's going to be an amazing journey. We'll document that whole thing. So, but man, I just can't tell you how attached I am to this thing already. It's just it's a dream come true to have this. I'm so glad I can just get in and drive. It's turnkey ready. So, all right. Well, thanks for watching. Next video, we'll probably put some new tires on this bad boy. So. Happy New Year, everybody, and please like and subscribe. Take care.